For season 3, what we're hoping to accomplish is tell a story in 13 parts, with each part of the story, each hour-long part of the story, sort of being more or less self-contained.
So, exactly where are we? Between fire and water.
There are two planets that have a sort of, they're almost in the same orbit, share an atmosphere at one point. One is called fire, which is totally dry and has no water at all, and it's very hot. And the other is water, which is all water. The LEXX has been drifting for like over 4,000 years, and it drifts into their atmosphere, and they think it's a comet. The people down on the planet think it's a comet. So they travel using hot air balloons. So they go up in this hot air balloon and they shoot an arrow at it, and basically it's like shooting the white whale. You know, they get it, and it pulls them along, and then they sort of reel it in and get on board.
The story arc is clear. The definition of the characters is clearer, and I think the introduction of Prince, like a sort of like almost like a fourth permanent cast member in a sense, that worked really, really well.
He's one of these characters that has unlimited power. He has unlimited power, unlimited abilities. He can do what he wants to, and he just decides what he wants to do and does it because he can.
You command the LEXX, and I have learned that the LEXX is a great weapon. Weapon that will finally tip the scales.
I think in some ways Stan represents, in the broad sense of the word, the common man. Stan wants to survive. He wants to survive the best he can, and wants to avoid unpleasant circumstances and wants to engage in pleasant ones.
He's a sensual man. That's Stanley, basically. He's out to find anything, to engage in anything that brings him pleasure, and to run and as fast as he can from anything that will require complications, responsibility, or pain.
You see, an evil planet is going to be blown into tiny little chunks, and then the LEXX, hopefully, is going to eat those chunks, and then we'll be able to sail away from a place where I really don't want to be anymore.
So in terms of my own identification with Stanley, I would never want to be the guy, you know, but in real life. But in terms of a character, I think it's a wonderful role to play. I mean, it's so broad. There are so many possibilities in there, as opposed to Michael playing Kai, whose role is essentially limited.
Did they hit us?
Not where it matters. Like after the first date, a couple of the writers were going, you know, what are we going to do? Your character's so dull, he's just dead. I'm going, no. You wrote him dead. He stays dead. I ain't going to do this data stuff. I just think I've said that before, but the data thing and want to be alive, or the Spock thing and be half human. Like, no, I'm dead. I just want to be dead. And then as they puzzled through that, he became more mechanical. And then in the last year, the thing was that he can be Superman, sort of, or he can have a kind of a really extreme physical stability or whatever, but that it's got to be vulnerable as well.
Kai becomes, well, I don't want to actually say, but we will actually see a whole other, possibly a whole other side to the Kai character, which actually even has more to it than meets the eye at first.
Kai? I thought that you had somehow come to life. But you're still dead, aren't you?
Yes.
So how can there be two of you?
One is dead.
The other's alive.
That had a nice sporting touch to it with the Japanese bow, which I managed to learn pretty well how to do. It was, it was fun. That was really fun to get that archery in.
Zev gets an opportunity to see a different side of Kai, which she finds, shall we say, attractive and interesting.
She's got the kind of the appearance of the love slave, yet I think the soul of a kind of an independent, fierce warrior woman. So kind of she's very good at sort of playing things to get her way, and kind of can play sort of double agent a lot of the times, I think.
Well, I'm happy to accept your deal under the right condition. You bring out something in me that doesn't always find proper expression.
Okay, ready to go?
There was some particularly satisfying falling at the very beginning, where our Halifax rigger got a very nice body rig. It was one where you're hoisted from two lines in the middle, and so it gives a great deal of freedom in falling and kind of tumbling and parachuting and stuff. And that was nice. And that kind of physical stuff is very satisfying to do and to be able to do.
Am I too low? Lift me up a bit, Marcel. 1 foot or half foot there. That good? Yes, that's good. Bueno.
Now, the guys in the audience would probably identify with this. Imagine having somebody grab you close to a delicate area and holding on very, very tightly for like 2 or 3 hours, a lot of Vaseline, a lot of baby powder. It's not really that much of a problem, You react to the immediate situation.
Yeah, I spent some time underwater with about 35 pounds of weight under my body, so I would sink like a stone to the bottom of the pool. One of the satisfying things is that what you do then is you work it out very, very technically, step by step, and just execute. And so you do it, and then you stop doing it and say, okay, I've done that. I did every step just right. It worked out fine. And then you kind of go, oh, was that a thrill? Is that ever fun? But it's all delayed. All the fun is sort of delayed.
We're going to have to start with a little bit of pain.
I'm not good with pain.
We tried it with the clamps actually on the nipples, and they thought, whoa, no. And then what we did was we actually, the makeup girls made nipples that were slightly larger out of latex. And that was fine, they glued them on. Now, the going on part was fine. That was fine. But when it came down to, it was hair-raising, I tell you.
One of the episodes that I directed, Gondola, is entirely shot in this gondola.
The gondola was great. That was really the finest piece that we designed this year. It went through probably about 30 or 40 changes and different design ideas, thousands of drawings and sketches, and we racked our brains for weeks over that to finally come up with something that was crude, but at the same time was elegant, but also would work practically.
The ship as a whole was, I think it was good in the end. I think there are kind of mytho-poetic things there that are probably very nice to look at. I mean, I got a conflicted relationship with the gondola. I spent a lot of time in there, and with the hot lights and the sand blowing and the various traumas of the gondola.
This was the middle of summer down in Halifax, and you can't have the air conditioning on because it makes too much noise when you're shooting. So it was hot and close. You get to know people real well in that situation.
Sollte hier jetzt Hotel stehen?
Worum waren wir hier? Was denn nicht falsch? Never got through there.
It had always been ironic to me to move from a studio in Canada, a show which is primarily shot totally shot in studio, to yet another studio thousands of miles away across the ocean. So I thought, well, why not take advantage of what Berlin has to offer in terms of locations? Let's find some places and break the show out of the studio and try to find some interesting locations to take some of the episodes onto.
And it's a little tougher on the crew shooting location than it is within the sort of comfort of the studio, where there's a lot of control, because as you know, there's a lot of green screen, a lot of special effects done in the show. Whereas on this, we tended to rely on the locations to tell the magic of the visuals rather than creating a lot of camera effects or kind of CGI effects, where we let the location kind of tell us where we are and sort of get the most out of that location.
We are in Rüdersdorf near Berlin, a very decayed location, and we will soon start to shoot.